Have you ever thought about the significance of place? Because it's more than dots on a map or an address in a GPS. A place has its own identity, revealed in the people who inhabit it. Here in western Wisconsin, we share a remarkable place, dotted with clear lakes under blue skies, cold streams that feed big rivers, hardwood forests, fertile farms. It's a place worth loving, worth protecting. And the impacts of development being faced in many Wisconsin communities are impacts that don't stop at city limits or county lines. Instead, they ripple outward through shared watersheds and landscapes and economies and futures. And we realize we're neighbors. Neighbors who know we're at our strongest when we unite over what we share rather than divide over how we differ. And it's in that moment when we truly see ourselves as neighbors that our understanding of what's possible is transformed. Because one person can use their voice to make a difference, but when a neighborhood stands together with one voice, that shapes futures, destinies. So tonight, this West Wisconsin neighborhood will find its voice and its power and will begin taking action to change its destiny. Because, friends, this place needs its people, and these people need their place.
That's how I think of it. But some people think of it this way. They think, ooh, got an echo. I think that people find that it's illogical. They say people are illogically afraid of data centers, but I just don't believe that it's illogical to be concerned about the potential destruction of the soul of your community. I think that's an instinct that we have. And so, people say, oh, it was your idea. I don't believe that I had this idea alone. What I'm seeing is that people were having the idea already, right? I just said it out loud to somebody who said it out loud to somebody else. And then over the course of a couple of months, then there were 60 people who decided to be here tonight and volunteer. And because of those 60 people in the last 3 weeks, all of you are here, right? That's what I see. And that puts us in a situation where the fact of the matter is we feel at times like it's the deck is stacked against us. It can feel like that. It can make us feel powerless. That there's so much coming at us that we can't control. But I'm here to tell you tonight that we do have control, that we do have agency, that we do have a voice. And where that voice comes from is all of us together standing up for each other. All of us making sure that not one community in this region or neighborhood, as I like to say, has to go it alone. And that's what we're here about tonight. So over the course of the evening, I'm sitting here, this is really humbling, right? Like 6 months ago in this fight, I felt so alone. And now I've got you guys here. So I'm going to ask you to do something with me. Tonight, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean in to what's being said. I'm going to lean into the learning. I'm going to lean into the laughter. We're here about data centers and we're mad. It's okay to laugh. I'm here to lean into the music. I'm here to lean into the anger when it's right. And I'm here to lean into my new neighbors and into my desire to make sure that they're safe and their community keeps its soul. Okay? And I want you to lean in with me tonight because I really believe if you do, that when the end of the night comes, you're going to know what you need to do next. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Blaine. Well, every good party has to have music, and you are in for a huge treat. We have Soren Staff and Bo Janke, the They are internationally known. So let's hear it for Soren and Bo of them Coolie Boys.
Hello, neighbors.
Hello.
Yeah? We are them coolie boys, like they just said, or at least 40% of them coolie boys. 100% of them coolie boys are on board with this issue, for the record. Just going to get that out there. There's just weddings and stuff, but no, we are so. Bo was just at his daughter's dance recital and then made time for this. So that's how important this is, right?
Yep.
We're going to sing you a song about family and community, because a lot of times that's the same thing.
Is my banjo coming out? Okay, good. Just making
Is
sure.
it loud? Yes, always. Yeah.
Just make sure. Have fun.
Met my grandpa, he was black and white, few years from his saints. And my father, towards flashing light, 1963. There's my grandma, standing to the side. She got my auntie around her knees, only standing about 5'5", but she seems so tall to me. And I'm told I am the same face as my namesake. They're all going to the same place when we're done. Even if we all ain't got the same names, oh, I'd be proud to call you family. Should have known. Some jump from airplanes, some in the family farm. They raised my dad, my mom, they raised me. Some are related by words of blood, but they steal your family. And I'm told I have the same face as my namesake. We're all going to the same place when we're done. Even if we all ain't got the same names, oh, I'd be proud to call you family. Should we know? Hope I've grown to be my mother by the time I have a son. Hope he takes after my father. Hope they just be who they want. Hope my friends will all surround them like crazy uncles and aunts. Hope they know they don't have to be related to be loved. It's just love. It's just love. It's just love. It's just love, it's just love, it's just love, it's just love, it's just love. And I'm told I have the same face as my namesake. We're all going to the same place when we're done. Even if we all ain't got the same names, oh, I'd be proud to call you family. Sure enough.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we both live. I live in Chippewa. Bo lives in Eau Claire. We've been ChippewaValleyans for the last decade or so, but we grew up in very small communities.
Trempolo.
Trempolo. I went to school in Blair. Yeah. We know just how beautiful it is to live in Wisconsin. How beautiful it is to live in Western Wisconsin, and data centers threaten that, and that's something that we're very passionate about. That we need to preserve the things that are meaningful and beautiful to us, and not let some rich asshole from California try to encroach on that. So we're gonna sing you a song. This is a Gillian Welch song. It's about how rich assholes ruin the music industry. So here's how we're gonna sing it to you guys. We hope you like it. Everything is free now, that's what they say. Everything I ever done, gonna give it away. Someone hit the big score, they figured it out. We were gonna do it anyway, even if it doesn't pay. Every day I wake up humming a song, always trying to move around. I should just stay home, sing a little love song, my lover, myself. If there's something that you wanna hear, you can sing it yourself. 'Cause everything is free now, that's what they say. Everything I ever done, gonna give it away. Someone hit the big score, they figured it out. We were gonna do it anyway, even if it doesn't pay. I could get a tip jar, gas up the car, try to make a little change down at the bar. Or I could work a straight job, I've done it before. Never minded working hard, it's who I'm working for. 'Cause everything is free now, that's what they say. Everything I ever done, gonna give it away. Someone hit the big score, they figured it out. We were gonna do it anyway, even if it doesn't pay. My mom taught kindergarten for 34 years in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. And she taught me a lot about how if you want to make the world a better place, you got to go and do it. I wrote this song 10, 11, way too long ago now. We've been a band for way too long, I'll tell you that. But I wrote the song before we were in a band. She was standing on the steps in Madison protesting some decisions made by some asshole named Scott Walker. Forget him. No, but I remember her I remember her calling me, and she said, if you believe in something, you got to go and do it. I wrote this song after that, and I'm carrying that spirit today because she always says, and she still remains to this day. She says, if you want to make the world a better place, you find something you're good at, and you do it for other people. So she taught kindergarten. We're playing music. You guys are coming here today, and you're standing up to billionaires. That's a big damn thing, too. So give yourself a pat on the back for participating and going into your community and make it a better place. That's what this song is all about. We hope you like it. It's called Hammer. Put your hammer down. We got work to do. The world out there quit spinning. Now it's up to me and you to step into the fight without raising a hand. Make the most out of our chances to love our fellow man. Put your weapon down. You know you got your right. We were made to nurture, but our nature is to fight. Deliver us from evil. Is evil here to stay? Gotta make it to the sunrise to see another day. Put your Bible down. You got a right to say that don't make it your place to take our rights away. Listen to your Father, listen to His Son. Open up your heart. There's room for everyone. That means everyone.
Thank you. You don't want to do change? Yeah. Okay, I thought, yeah. Cool. We made a switch.
We're calling an audible. You guys are great. Obviously, you're here today. And one thing I do want to say, as much as some people want to make this a right versus left kind of thing, it's not. It's an oligarchs against the regular people kind of thing. It's the salt of the earth against everybody else. We truly, we truly here in them Cooley Boys and here in the Chippewa Valley, like you got to value the nature around you. You got to value the people around you, and these people coming in and trying to put these data centers that would affect just our way of life. It's something you got to push back on. So we're so thankful that you guys are here. We're gonna sing you a song. I wrote this protest song a long time ago, and we hope you like it. It's called "Sign of the Times." People stomping in the streets, not for bread but dignity. People walking in a line, never stepping out of time. Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times.
You can sing along if you want. Follow me.
Say it's okay.
It's okay.
It's just a sign of the times.
Do it a few more.
Got a right to use our voice. Time and place, not a choice. Pedestals on which we speak. The old words don't mean a thing. Say it's okay.
It's okay.
It's just a sign of the times. Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times. Got a right to use our voice. Time and place and not a choice. Pedestals on which we speak. The old words don't mean a thing. Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times.
If you want change, you gotta be loud. Come on.
Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times. Come on, Bo, play one. Watch where you eat, where you shit and where you sleep. When you put your child to bed, they'll watch you kiss her on her head. Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times. Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times. Yeah, they tell you who to be, who you're on, and what you eat. They'll say some stuff I got above. They tell you who you cannot love. Say it's okay.
It's okay.
It's just a sign of the times.
One more time, good people. Come on.
Say it's okay. It's just a sign of the times.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you so much. And how about them Coolie Boys? Woo-hoo! Oh my goodness, so good. All right, so I am supposed to tell you that food trucks close, I think, at 8. And if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry because my brain is full. We're getting the stage set up for our next amazing speaker. But how fun that we're actually bigger than some towns tonight, our population, right? Okay, so they're getting the stage set, and I get to welcome on a good friend of mine. Tonight we are getting to hear stories that bring home the importance of everyday people mobilizing just like we're doing right now, and mobilizing around what they care about. And no one does that better than our next speaker. Come on up, Cindy Greening. She is a rock star. She is a traveler, a screenwriter. You get to listen to your bio live. Is that okay? Okay, no problem. Cindy's going to use my mic. So I'm going to hand this to you in a hot second, but I got to tell people who you are in case they don't know you. You are a screenwriter, digital media and film professor at UW-Stout, and she's most recently the founder and lead organizer of Chippewa Valley Indivisible, which began with just 28 people and now is more than 3,000 strong in under 2 years. So Cindy's commitment to this community has brought thousands together as a collective voice. And we are so glad she's lending her voice here tonight. Cindy, your volunteers are making a difference for us tonight. So huge round of applause for all of the volunteers. A lot of them are from Chippewa Valley Indivisible. Yeah, shout out to them. All right, my dear, I think we're just about ready. Are you ready? We both said we were nervous tonight, so we get to be here together.
Okay, thank
Everybody,
you.
Cindy.
Hi. The worst thing about going first is you have to follow Blaine and the Coolie Boys. The best thing about going first is if I'm bad, by the time you see Charlie Barron's, you won't remember. It'll all be done. So one of the things, those of you who know me know I like to keep my speeches to about 2 minutes. And Blaine said, yeah, we want 6. I'm like, 6? And he said, and we want you to tell a little more personal story. So this is something you guys don't normally hear from me, which is a reflection on a country that means a whole lot to me, that was going through something very similar to what we're going through now and lost. So here we go. In 2006, I took 21 film students and faculty advisors from Mesa, Arizona to Zambia, Africa. I think I'm supposed to have some slides. Are they there? Oh, good. Can you go one more? Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, who cares? There I am in Africa. Anyway, I went to Zambia, Africa with all these folks to make the first feature film in that country, the first. And it wasn't a film about Zambia, but it was a film written by one of our Zambian film students. We knew it should be created with Zambian actors and artists. It wasn't our film to make, it was their story to tell, and so we went along just to help. Toward the end of filming, these lights are like right in my eyeballs, just so you know, can't see anything. Toward the end of filming, we loaded everyone onto a bus and drove through the night to Victoria Falls. And as we drove, oh, there's that slide now. And as we drove hours and hours and hours in the dark, I started noticing something out the window. Distant fires, small ones, hundreds, scattered across the landscape like stars that had fallen and settled into the hills. You know what they were? Cooking fires, village fires, because there was no electricity at all. And something about that hit me in a way that I wasn't prepared for. It felt like, and I know you're going to find this hard to believe, it felt like home, like I was driving in rural Wisconsin at night. You know how remote and quiet and isolated it can be? The kind of dark that swallows you up whole. Some of you knows what that feels like, right? If you grew up like I did on a farm in Tilden, if you ever drove home on a country road at midnight, anyone driven home at midnight? On a moonless night? Holy cow, look out for that deer. You know, that dark. Except these people out here, they weren't choosing the darkness. It had been chosen for them. Those villagers were somebody's neighbors, and nobody with power was acting like it. The whole time I was in Zambia, I was aware of what I carried with me. I had a big fancy film camera and a plane ticket home. I had a resume that meant something somewhere. I had options. When you know you can leave a place, you pay closer attention to the people who can't. I didn't know it back then, but 10 years later, I would move back to Wisconsin for good. My father died, and my mother was becoming medically fragile. And so I thought, okay, I need to go back home. And after 38 years, I am an old lady, just so you know. After 38 years in Arizona and Los Angeles, places where I had options and a career and a life that made sense on paper, I came home to my people here. And the feeling, like Blaine said earlier, was completely different. This wasn't visiting, it was belonging. These people, this place, it's why I made Chippewa Valley Indivisible. It was worth fighting for. We needed that. In Phoenix and Los Angeles, I had watched money concentrate in corporate towers and gated neighborhoods in the hands of a few very extremely wealthy people who extracted everything from the people around them and called it success. But at least in those large urban areas, the infrastructure held. You know, the lights stayed on. And when I came back to Western Wisconsin, when I moved back, I started seeing it the way I had seen Zambia from the bus window. It was beautiful, remote, resilient, and it was quietly being drained of all the things that made it our home. Foxconn, the sand plants, all of the disappearing farms, the threats to our land and water, the neighbors who left and never came back. Some of you know who I'm talking about. The extraction had been slower up here, quieter, easier to miss if you'd never left. But I'd left. So when I came back, it was startling to me, the change. Anyway, Zambia, for those of you that don't know it, was a nation that held itself together from 73 different tribes. Did you know that? One of the fellows that we filmed with, he said to us, you know, Zambia is 73 tribes of cowards. We all ran away because we didn't want to fight, which I thought was hysterical. Anyway, so different tribes, different beliefs, different reasons to mistrust their neighbors. And yet, after their independence, they had done something remarkable. They had looked at everything that separated them and decided that the threat was bigger than their differences. And the people who had almost no reason to trust each other, found a way to come together, which is what I'm hoping for us. I thought about it a lot in the bus ride home in the dark, and I thought about it even more again recently when I came across an article about what happened to Zambia after I left. And it's what really brought this whole data center fight home to me. In Zambia, the copper was already being extracted when we were filming. Every single Zambian on our set was talking about how much money was being taken out of their country, billions of dollars. And through a combination of tax holidays and shell companies and development agreements, you guys know these things, right? That tied the hands of the Zambian government for 20 years. The people with the cooking fires never got any money. They still don't have electricity in those remote areas, still 20 years later, right? Corporations that declared no profits. You guys ever seen companies declare no profits? How many of them could you name right now? Oh yeah, see? Right? Paid no corporate income tax. Meanwhile, in Zambia, the mines were producing and the wealth left, and the villages stayed dark. The Zambian factions had come together to build a nation, but it wasn't enough. The people with contracts moved faster than the people with the cooking fires ever could. The lawyers who structured those deals and the accountants who hid the money are still practicing today, and that playbook still exists. It's been used before, it'll be used again, it's being used right now, right here, right? You bet. So many in the room tonight are here because you know what a data center actually means. That's the thing that I love about this. We're preaching to the converted. You know, you guys are easy. You're already with us. you know? Because of that, you know not the version in the brochure, but the version in the contract, the extraction operation. It pulls water and power, it destroys our land. It generates enormous wealth for people who do not live here, will never live here, will not stay here, and they have attorneys who are very, very good at making sure tax structures mean we never quite get what we deserve. And that's why we're coming together, so that we can fight and we can get the wisdom from the people in this room, because you're going to hear some really awesome people speak tonight who are going to talk to you about the things they've learned. Haven't you already heard some from Blaine about how we can work together and make a difference? So, our land is like Zambia's copper. Our aquifer is the copper. Our grid capacity is the copper. And we are being asked to accept agreements by some public officials that will tie our hands for 20 years or more. We can't let that happen. No. I'm almost done, I swear. God, this feels long. Is it long for you? It's really long for me. Okay. I was ready to be done 5 minutes ago. Okay. Here's what I also know. 18 months ago, 28 people showed up to a meeting in Chippewa Falls because they were scared and angry and didn't know what else to do. Tonight, there are 3,000 of us in Chippewa Valley Indivisible, many of them in the crowd tonight. Can I hear you? Thank you so much. I love it when you prove my point. But it's not just us. Other grassroots organizations like GROW, like Great Lakes Neighborhood United, like all of our partners. Where's my partner list? Geez, they keep switching my slides on me. This reminds me of when I used to teach. I turn around and who knows what was going to be behind me. Anyway, they are all experiencing tremendous growth as neighbors come together to face this existential threat to our land and our way of life. Across this valley, across this state, people who thought they disagreed about almost everything are finding that they agree about this. People who haven't been in the same room since the last time they had to be are coming together. And that's not nothing. That's everything. Only this much. I'm almost there. Okay? Sorry. Can you tell I'm used to short speeches? This is way too long. Okay, the only question is whether we can learn from what happened to those villagers in the dark, whether we can move fast enough, whether our leadership is honest and strong enough, and whether we trust each other enough to act before the contracts get signed. I believe we can. Do you? I have seen in Zambia what it looks like when people decide that the thing in front of them is bigger than the things that divide them. Our secret weapon is us. You've heard it tonight. Blaine has said it, Danny said it, everybody's saying it, right? When we come together, we have the strength. And it's more than coming together. When we come together with the right action at the right time, which is what we're doing right now, we have a common goal. We have a thread that unites us. And now we're going to weave us all together. I don't want our villages to go dark because we weren't paying attention. We have a chance that they didn't have in Zambia. We know the playbook. We can see what's coming. And our neighbors are counting on us, all of them. The ones in this room and the ones that don't know they need to be here yet. We need to get them in here with us, don't we? Awesome. We are one state, and this is our fight now, right now. Thanks for being here.
Testing. There we go. Throwing Shane for a loop. Give it up for our audio friends tonight. Thank you. And one quick housekeeping note, we have a lost phone and it is back at the volunteer service desk. The nice lady in green waving at the back of the room. If you lost your phone, head to her. And you might need your phone to enjoy the TikTok stylings of our next guest. John Calabrese is a community organizer with GROW. He lives in Menominee with his 2 kiddos, Homer and Nelson. He's an organizing member of GROW and working on a campaign centered around healthcare. So he might be knocking on your doors this summer. Thousands of door knocking will happen because of John and the folks at GROW. And tonight, he is lending his voice as we connect to protect. John.
Thank you, Sarah. How do we sound, everybody? All right. As Sarah said, my name is John Calabrese. I am an organizer with GROW, which is Grassroots Organizing, Western Wisconsin. Yes. Thank you. And I just want to say, I was trying to think of the word to describe how I feel today about this gathering and about data centers in general, and just hear me out. But when I think of the proliferation of these things all across the country, and once you start paying attention, as a lot of you have, you probably can't stop paying attention to all of it. But as an organizer, I feel grateful, and I'm going to try to explain to you why. When I was 8 years old, my Aunt Katie handed me a brown paper grocery bag, and she said, "This is for you." And I took it, and I reached inside, and the first thing I pulled out was a red pennant, one of those triangle flags, you know, and it had Bucky the Badger on the left side, and the word Wisconsin in white block letters getting progressively smaller towards the point. And I reached back in the bag, and the next thing I pulled out was a worn Green Bay Packers t-shirt. And I looked into the bag, and the only thing left was a plastic container that had over 100 totally random Milwaukee Brewers baseball cards. And I looked at my aunt, and she must have seen the look on my face, and it probably looked perplexed as I stood in my house that was located in western New York State, where she also lived. And I said, "Thank you." And she said, "Well, your Uncle Gene and I went on a vacation to Wisconsin, and we went out into the country to an estate sale, and we thought maybe you'd like these things." And I thought, well, she's a big baseball fan, and she knows who my favorite team is, and I'm not going to tell you all here what my favorite team is. But she put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, "Well, everything happens for a reason." And that night, we hung the pennant up above my bed, right above the pillow, where it stayed until I graduated high school. So every night, and especially every morning, I would wake up, and there's that badger with his chest sticking out, looking at me. And fast forward 30 years, and I moved to Wisconsin after moving to a couple other places across the country. And maybe it was the experiences of the other couple places, but I just felt warm and home, and the neighbors were so accepting, and not in an effusive, over-the-top way, just in a natural way. I was here, they were here, we were here, and it was just wonderful and welcoming. And I remember my first August here, my neighbor Barb was outside doing something, and I was milling around the yard. She says, "You know, you're going to want to make sure you lock your doors at night this time of year on your car." And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, you know, your neighbors, they might put a box of cucumbers in there if you don't." And so that was the neighborhood. And I remember later that fall, I saw an ad in the paper for an estate sale out in the country, and my Aunt Katie had recently passed away, and it just clicked with me. I'm like, "Ooh, a Wisconsin estate sale out in the country." And I decided to go because I didn't have anything going on, and I got on Highway 29, headed east, past all those towns that were apparently named after the first name of the first white man that settled there. Stanley and Spencer and Owen and Thorpe. And I got to Edgar, where the estate sale was, And I was waiting in line with a fellow who came down from Merrill, and he just started talking to me like he'd known me for years, which was an experience I had many times in Wisconsin, and I still have. And he was from Milwaukee, and he was a union man, worked with the amalgamated meat cutters, and we just talked about his family, and I talked about mine. And I asked him why he was there, and he said, "Oh, nothing in particular." He said, "I like to go to estate sales because I just feel this really nice sense when I go into a place where someone has likely just passed, and I feel like there's an honor among all their things, and I don't know, I just think it's really nice." I thought that was so sweet, because sometimes you go to estate sales and people are like crazy vultures, like snatching things up and having no regard for the people that live there. So I was really appreciative of that dude. And we got in, and he went to the left and I went to the right, and there was a table where the estate sale folks had put together all the sports memorabilia. And I looked down, and there was a pennant, and if it wasn't identical to the one that was above my bed, it was super close. And next to it was a stack of random Milwaukee Brewers baseball cards. And I was leaving, and I saw the fella from Merrill on the way out, and he's like, "Well, did you get anything?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I found this pennant and these baseball cards. I can't believe it." And he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Well, everything happens for a reason." And and I was just like, "Oh, come on now." and I drove back west on 29, and it was that time of year in the fall when all the political signs were going up, and it kind of harshed the mood that I was in, because I had been there long enough at this point to realize that political season was pretty much the only time in Wisconsin when I felt that home feel, that really community feel, kind of get fractured, and people would put signs up in their yards as sort of like barricades for my side versus your side. And I remember walking down Elm Street in Menominee, where I live, and there's these two houses that really get into it every year, and I go for walks a lot, and I could just see it, and they would like be in their yards tidying up for the winter with their backs towards each other, and like not wanting to engage. And I just was like so eager for the political season to be over. I hated that time of year because it just messed with everything I felt about Wisconsin and everything that made me feel like I was home. And last year I was walking down that same Elm Avenue in Menominee, and I saw these signs pop up for the first time ever, and they were no data center signs. And I look up ahead at these two houses, and they each had a no data center sign. Um, and not only that, they were outside talking to each other, and they were in the corner of one of their yards. And I was walking by at my normal, probably seems ridiculous, fast pace, but I slowed it down because I wanted to eavesdrop to hear what they were saying. And I walked by slow, and they were just kind of confused and concerned, and they were talking about the proposed data center and not knowing where it came from. And I got past, and I heard them talking, and their voices starting to trail off. And I thought, oh my God, as an organizer, and one of our biggest hurdles is division. And I thought, everything happens for a reason. The data centers. And so at a time when the people who are pushing these things, these corporate oligarchs, these crazy millionaires who think that they can just come into these places and swoop in and steamroll over these rubes in the Midwest, where they rely on our division in this time where we are supposed to be divided, we are all here together. And in this time, where it is getting more and more difficult to even determine what is true and what is fake, this is true, this is real right here. You can touch the person next to you. This is real power in this room. And so the question is, what are we going to do with this power? Everything happens for a reason. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That's right. Our next speaker is not afraid to speak up for the underdog. Sarah Zarling is a social and environmental justice advocate whose work focuses on spreading the truth, seeking justice and accountability, and increasing transparency. She has traveled all over the states and even to Canada to document the ways people are paying the price at the hands of industry. And we are so grateful to Sarah for sharing her story tonight. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, everyone. Hello. All right. So a couple things. Number one, Blaine, you succeeded. Man, I'm feeling all the feels. Usually I fall apart after the presentation, and them Cooley boys just got me all, woo. So I'm going to take some deep breaths, and I'm also just going to say I'm probably going to run over time, so let's just establish that right away as well. Okay, slides. Excellent. This is me. And this is how you can get in touch with me. I forget I have half these platforms half the time, but I'm still there. So if you want to reach out to me, I encourage that. I also encourage you to please take photos of my slides and make notes of things to Google, because I'm going to spew a lot of information at you very quickly. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. So my story begins, the story of stories that I'm going to share is shaped largely by my perspective since this day. And also, when Blaine and I learned that John and I were following each other, everything happens for a reason is a very central theme of why I'm even standing up here, because I firmly believe that if I had not come to this particular Pick and Save parking lot in Walmart on this day, or in Watertown on this day, that I probably wouldn't be standing up here right now. So my story that I'm going to share begins here in this Pick and Save parking lot in Watertown on an afternoon in February of 2015. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids, and I had just picked up my school-age kids from school, and we needed to go to the store. So my son, who is now 21, was sitting with me in the front seat, and we watched Shiny Black Tanker after Shiny Black Tanker go by, and this is what they look like up close. This was taken when this train derailed near my home at the end of my block later that year in 2015 and spilled oil on the ground near a park where I took my kids to play, but that's another story. So when I saw the oil train in the Pick and Save parking lot, I sort of like innately knew what to do, and I became, I sort of believed that this was my destiny. And so I went home and I looked it up, and I discovered that one of these trains had derailed in a town in Canada and incinerated 47 people and everything in its path. You can see in the photo there. Oh crap, I'm not following along. That's what the oil train looks like up close. That's what derailed at the end of my block. I'm sorry, I'm following along with my PowerPoint. All right, very good. So now this is the town in Canada where that train derailed and incinerated 47 people and everything in its path. You can see in the central right of the photo the pile of derailed tankers and the literal river of fire that flowed through the town, destroying everything in its path and all the way to the lake. So I was actually lucky enough to go to that little town in Canada to stand with them in solidarity for the 10-year anniversary of what happened to them. You can see there, so I took the photo from where the derailed tankers were. That grassy area is where all the buildings were, where most of the people died, and then you can see that clear path to the lake where the oil spilled into the water. So here we are. So this is a before and after photo. So again, just like here, it took the federal government many years to give the citizens of Lac-Mégantic any support for this tragedy. And so here with the data center issue now, this is a family in Beaver Dam near the metadata center site that has this construction happening in their literal backyard. Do you think that there's any protections in place for them with this irreversible damage that's being done to the land in their backyard? And then we have, crap, thank you. And then we have all the dust. Those of you who are familiar with frac sand mining know that the silica dust can be very dangerous. It's also the same for data center projects. And then also, I'd like to share, oh, wait, hang on a minute. Okay, this is good. All right, so when I discovered the oil train, that basically led me down the rabbit hole to lead me to where I am now. So when I learned about the data center project in Beaver Dam, which that's the first community that I was on the ground with to support, that data centers are just my latest endeavor. So when I discovered the oil trains, then I learned about the pipelines that we have running through the state. So many of you are familiar with Line 5 there to the north, and not as many people are familiar that we have 4 pipelines that cut through the entire state that enter through Superior and go all the way down through Delavan. Part of the pipeline segment runs through near where I live in Jefferson County, and then for those of you who travel on I-94 from Johnson Creek to Madison, you drive over those pipelines and you don't even know it. So for a period of time, I went around to the segment of pipelines near where I live and talked to landowners along the corridor passing out safety kits, but that's also another story. And we talked to a landowner who told us about property damage that they were experiencing, particularly cracked foundations from how they have to drive the pipes underneath the roadway. And then he was also describing he and his wife's worsening health problems. The activists that I was there with, we knew why he was having health problems living near the pipelines, but that's also another story. I have so many stories from the last 11 years and thousands of photos and videos that will horrify you. This is just a little taste of that. So when we talked to him about the cracked foundation, he said that he went to Enbridge and told them what was happening, and they said that there was nothing that they could do because the man couldn't prove that it was them that was causing the damage to their property. This pipeline companies also like to come onto people's land and cut down their trees with no notice or warning. That same thing happens in data center construction sites. We don't want to let the utility companies off the hook because they are in cahoots with the developers just as much in this deal. So this is a family near the site in Beaver Dam that Alliant Energy came onto their property and cut down their trees with no notice or warning. So let's see, now this. I also was lucky enough to go to East Palestine, if you remember the train derailment and subsequent chemical poisoning that happened there 3 years ago. So this is the plume that went up during the controlled burn that they did of the 5 tank cars after the derailment. And there's about 200 chemicals in this plume that went up that stretched and spread over multiple states, and even towns up to 30 minutes away could see the darkness and smell the chemicals. This is what it looks like from the ground. So they only evacuated this a mile away. So I did an interview with a woman who lived 1.1 miles away who described the black smoke blowing directly in her face. And I met her at the Citizen Press Conference where she said that she has upwards of 150 nodules on her lungs that she believes are from breathing in this smoke. But do you think there are protections in place for her to get medical treatment or help with relocation? Not so much. And then also when that plume went up into the sky, it did not just disappear. All those chemicals rained down over everything and contaminated the soil and the water, so then nobody could no longer drink their water. And instead of having help from the federal government to get clean water, a wonderful, generous chiropractor and his wife set up water distribution events at their chiropractic office to help residents get water. And it's really important to know that we need water for more than just drinking. We need it for bathing, cooking, laundry, coffee, and brewing beer. So literally we need water for life, right? And so let's talk about people near the data center construction site in Beaver Dam again. So Charlie went to visit a family that lives near there that had, at this time, they discovered sand in their water. But since then, their well has run dry. Do you think there are any protections in place to get them water or to help them drill a new well? Not so much. This is another landowner that lives near that same site. In addition to creek problems she's been having that she did not have prior to the construction, she's also had to pay hundreds of dollars to have her water sent in to be tested, and that has since come back positive for chemicals that show that it is unsafe to drink her water. Do you think that anybody is coming to help give her water, or anybody has paid for her testing? Not so much. This is a before and after photo she showed. These developers, these utility companies, they're not good neighbors. They come into our neighborhoods and they want to destroy them. They want to rip them apart. They want to upend people's lives. And they want to make the land unrecognizable, all for their own personal gain. And whatever happens to us and the planet is just the cost of doing business. Not trying to be all doom and gloom here, but this is true. But what can we do? We can do something. Right now is a wonderful show of exactly what we can do. We can come together as neighbors, as concerned community members, and we can demand better. We can demand that our government has protections in place for residents and communities before these construction projects are approved. We can make sure that residents are not going to be removed from their homes. A lot of people move to the country because they want peace, they want quiet, and they want to die there in solitude, and they don't want a multi-billion-dollar company coming in and trying to run them out. So we just want to remember, friends, that yes, they are trying to divide us, but in this data center issue, I have seen us come together more united than ever. Consistently in public hearings and at events, there are standing room only crowds that come together to say that they do not want data centers in their community. This is not a NIMBY issue. This is just an issue of we don't want this here, and if we are going to have it, then we need protections in place for residents, and that's just non-negotiable. So friends, let's just make sure that we stay united and not divided, and let's not let the bastards win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. As you can see, our cause is inspiring people from far and wide to come tonight. Our next guest lives up north, but his roots are in western Wisconsin. Tim Harmston is a stand-up comedian who grew up in Menominee. He has performed on The Late Show with David Letterman and Comedy Central's Live at Gotham. He and his wife, Mary, currently live in Bayfield. Thank you for coming all this way, Tim. And I hear it was important for you to know that they're dog people. So, all the cat people, we love you too. All right. Let's give it up for Tim.
Yay! Hello! How are you folks doing tonight? Yeah, earlier when Blaine said we're going to lean into the music, we're going to lean into the laughter, we're going to lean into the anger, I'm angry right now from watching those slides, and this is the angriest stand-up comedy I've ever done. But it's okay because I got my Menominee people in the house. Where are we at? Okay. Menominee folks, did you see our town sign on the slideshow? Did anybody? Our town slogan is traditional yet progressive. Nothing says traditional yet progressive like having a funeral home in your technology park. That's how awesome Menominee is. But I love Western Wisconsin. I grew up in Menominee until I left after high school, and I just want to say, in general, Wisconsin is number one. Don't you say? Like, we're always number one, and not always in good stuff. Sometimes it's like high cholesterol or heart attacks or cheese-related rodeo incidents, but maybe we're not that bad. I just found out that Wisconsin is the only state in the country that reimburses hunters if their dog gets eaten by a bear. up to $2,500. Yeah, now look, I love my dog. But when he gets old, we are going hunting. And Chihuahua don't normally hunt bear. We're only going once. No, I don't. I don't hunt. And it's not because I don't support it. I don't hunt. I support you if you do. I don't hunt because you can't show up in the woods in a Toyota Prius. You can't shoot a deer and put it on the front of a Toyota Prius. Drive it down Main Street. The deer is embarrassed. The deer's like, just shoot me again. This is embarrassing. Have you ever charged your Prius at Target with a deer on the front? You gotta have a truck. And I've always wanted a truck, but I don't have an extra $130,000. But my wife is super supportive. She's like, just go to the dealers, see if they got any deals, ask a few questions. So I went in, and this big burly truck salesman comes out, and he's like, what kind of tow ratio are you looking for? I have no idea what that means. I was like 5 on each foot, I think. Okay, that should have done better. That should have done better. This is Western Wisconsin. That's like bring down the house level dad joke. Now, I kind of grew up in a wooded, I've never even owned a chainsaw before until my wife got me one recently. It was an electric one from Aldi. Yeah, there's no outlets in the woods. This feels so good. Just to be in a room with people laughing, doesn't it? It just feels good. And it's just seeing people together. I've had kind of a tough stretch recently. I tore my rotator cuff during a prostate exam. It was a telehealth visit, and thank you. Yeah, I had to hold the iPhone and the laser pointer. The doctor's like, zoom out. But I'm here because I'm a fisherman. So I fished for trout I fished in Dunn County, in the streams of Dunn County, and now I live in Bayfield County, so I fish the Lake Superior Class 1 trout waters, and it's my passion. And my wife and I, we camp. We fish when we camp, and we bought a used camper. We wanted to kind of start used, so we bought a 1977 Scamp. Yeah, 9.5 feet long. It holds 2 angry adults and 1 fart. But we can't even get it up the hills. We can't even get up because we're towing it with a Prius with a deer on the front. But we're in the Upper Peninsula, beautiful area, and we're going up this hill, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to the top. I'm like, we're not. I don't have the braking power to stop this thing. Okay, so settle in. Here we go. We're going down this hill. And I see a main street. I'm like, I'm going to take a sharp left on the main street. And so I whip around, and the camper just flies around, and a cooler in the camper hits the door, and the camper door just pops off. And all of our crap just spills out onto Main Street. Our coolers, our duffel bags, everything, our throw pillows, because we were glamping. And we had no idea. So 3 miles outside of town, I'm just driving along. We're having a great time. And I look in my side mirror, and I see a Harley Davidson rider, and he's coming up real fast. And he's got a big gray bushy beard, and it's like flopping. It might have been you, sir. Was it you? No. It was just flopping, and then he's coming up and he's got something in his hand that looks like a snake, and he gets real close, and he goes, "Is this your CPAP machine?" The motor for it's back on Main Street. So I turned to my wife. I said, honey, I think I'm going to do a U-turn, go back to Main Street, grab my CPAP motor. She said, that's the sexiest damn thing you've ever said. Take me now. So I took her now back to get my CPAP motor. But we do camp. We love the outdoors, and I know the data center. There's nothing that I'm going to tell you that the experts and the people won't. But I will just say that part of the thing that bothers me is the noise that they make. And I just watched a video of this one in Michigan. Did you see that one? As a guy had a data center in his backyard, and it was just like, and so he showed it to my wife, and she's like, that's what it sounds like when you tell me about your fantasy football team. Like, Jordan Love. It's just. But I will end. Thank you for Blaine for letting me entertain, and there's so much more fun tonight and information. But I just will say, we got great people over here sign up and do all the stuff. And I have a thing personally, a little charity that I do. You can see it on my website. I have CDs. I have 3 albums on Apple Music, and you can buy them. They're $9.99 each, and a portion of the proceeds go to a cause. It's very dear to me. It's called the Smile on Sunday Foundation. It's an organization that provides grief counseling to Viking fans on Sundays, and every penny helps. So you guys, thank you so much.
Beautiful. As we are hearing tonight, the impact of hyperscale data centers touches every area of our life, and of course, that includes our health. Dr. Brittany Keys is a physical therapist and the Clean Air Policy Manager with the statewide nonprofit Healthy Climate Wisconsin. Brittany is a champion of clean air initiatives across the state because clean air saves lives. Please welcome Dr. Keys to the stage.
Good evening and thank you. As was shared, my name is Dr. Brittany Keys. I'm a physical therapist, Clean Air Policy Manager with Healthy Climate Wisconsin. We're a statewide nonprofit of nurses, doctors, therapists, and public health professionals, all working to address and prevent large sources of pollution to our air, our water, and our land in order to improve the health of our patients, our communities, and our families. Well, thank you. And this is why 8 months ago, I took the dive into the research, trying to find everything I could about the health harms and risks of hyperscale data centers. The speed and the volume of these developments far outpaces the speed and the volume of peer-reviewed research, but there is enough out there to know. Hyperscale data centers pose significant risks to our health, and that is why I'm here today. I'm also here today because our planet is sick. We have a super El Nino knocking at our door. Glaciers and ice caps are melting. 100 years floods are annual occurrences. Heat domes, atmospheric rivers, derechos, and wildfire smoke seasons are now part of our vocabulary. More frequent extreme weather, as Wisconsin saw record tornadoes and extreme storms and rain in April, followed by drought conditions in May. Our farmers feel it. Our lakes feel it. Lake Chetek is green. Blue-green algae blooms are keeping us from the places and the spaces that we love. Our bodies feel it. And that's because we're each part of this living world, and we cannot truly be healthy unless our planet is healthy. And the same thing that is making our planet sick is what's making us sick and my community. Wisconsin still depends on burning gas and coal for 72% of its in-state energy generation. And the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has historically said that coal and gas plants are the #1 polluter to our air, our water, and our land. And this our number one polluter from Rock County, where I'm from, is one of the largest methane gas plants in the state, and my community is sick. We have some of the highest asthma rates in the state. My school district has some of the highest asthma rates in the state. And my children's school elementary school has some of the highest asthma rates in the district. Last fall, my daughter's 3rd grade friends trained and participated in their first Girls on the Run 5K. These little girls in their matching orange shirts trained for months so they could run this race together. And whether they ran or they walked or both, it was high fives and smiles of pure joy as they crossed the finish line and earned their medals. They were beaming with pride when they got on the bus. But on the bus ride home, one of the little girls started to struggle to breathe. And for those of us who have witnessed a child struggle to breathe, there isn't much that's scarier. Her eyes got wide and her accessory muscles started working hard. And the teacher with the medicine bag was called to the back of the bus. And she rushed and she got out the first inhaler bag. It wasn't it. And then the second inhaler bag. And then the third. And then the fourth. And then the fifth. And the sixth. And on the 6th bag of inhalers, she found the little girls. And thank God that it worked. And it helped her. But 6 out of 22 girls from my daughter's elementary school need an inhaler to run a 5K. It doesn't have to be this way. Our children can be healthy, our lakes can be clear, and our planet can heal, but we have to act with urgency. We have to retire the coal plants, rapidly phase out the gas plants. We have to prevent the #1 polluter to our air, our water, and our land, so our children's lungs can heal. And over the last couple of years, Wisconsin was making progress. But then in Waltz's data centers. These developments take a lot of energy. And with just 2 of the hyperscale data centers being built in our state, they are predicted to use more energy than all of the residents and households in Wisconsin. But our utilities and their shareholders are about to cash out. And as we see our energy bills rise, you will see their profits rise. And to meet this demand, they are delaying coal plant closures. They are building new gas plants. And our progress towards health has stalled. And when it comes to health and the hopes of Beloit's 3rd graders being healthy and all of Wisconsin getting healthier, data centers are pulling us backwards. The health impacts of data centers extend far beyond the harmful air pollution that we cannot see, and it extends to our waters. These developments are incredible disruptors, consumers, and polluters of our water. Even when they use closed-loop technology, the large water volume that they consume just is shifted out of sight, because closed-loop technology requires incredible amounts of energy. And so when that energy demand is met with coal or gas plants, it is using just as much water or more. And then there's the chemicals in the system. PFAS, or forever chemicals, and a number of other chemicals that we don't know of that were fast-tracked approval last fall by our federal government that are under-monitored, thus we don't know the impacts. But we do know the wastewater is sent to our municipal wastewater treatment plants that are not equipped to process the toxins. So where do they go? And who will they harm? And then there is the sound pollution, the light pollution, and the strain on our energy grid. The sound and the light pollution is significant, and it spans the construction and the operation phase. And we also know that sound and light pollution is bad for humans and for wildlife. One of the most magical things about western and northern Wisconsin is your big sky. One of my most treasured memories is sitting out by our family's cabin and looking up at the big starry sky with my kids as the rhythm of the lake lapped against the shore. You cannot put a price tag on this. From air pollution to water use, groundwater disruption, water pollution to sound and light, and higher electricity bills to grid and climate impacts, hyperscale data centers pose significant risks to our health. But in the face of all this, a beautiful thing is happening. Over the last 8 months, as I've traveled across the state to talk about these risks, to help educate and empower communities, to engage and ensure their elected officials are making the best decisions for them, the people are coming together. People are coming together like never before. They're sharing their partisan shenanigans. They're leaving their differences at the door. Communities are uniting. They are defining what they value, what they want to protect, and what they want to leave for the next generation. And that gives me hope, because hope is active. And there's a lot of activity that's needed to stop these things. And people from across western Wisconsin and across the state have clearly shown we care about clean air. We care about clean water. We care about the health of our families and our state, and we are here to heal and keep Wisconsin healthy for generations to come. Thank you.
Incredible energy. Thank you so much, Dr. Keys. So much. Well, who is ready for some music? I remember seeing our next artist on TV, and she is here in person tonight to sing for us. Madeline Bailey was born and raised in Boyceville. Let's give it up for Boyceville. She is a world touring musician, songwriter, and YouTube star. You may have seen her on America's Got Talent, or perhaps you're one of her 9.6 million YouTube subscribers, or 1.6 billion total viewers. Simon Cowell gave her a standing ovation on national television. Let's see if we can match that tonight. Let's give it up for Madeline Bailey.
Sorry, this is a new guitar strap. Jimmy? James? Somebody?
Yay, good job.
Thank you. This is why I sing. Hi, my name is Madeline Bailey. I'm here tonight with you guys because my brother forced me to be here. I kid. I actually canceled a pickleball tournament in order to come here tonight, so priorities, right? No. I love Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin, except between the months of January and May. If we could just delete those, I'd be happy with that. But without the polar vortexes and my car not starting for 3 weeks because it was too cold, would I be the person I am today? Call it a feeling, call it a temperament. Came into this world screaming, it's been that way ever since. And my parents used to call it a bad attitude. Been ruled by the moon since 1992. What you see is what you get with me, I fear. Won't find what you're looking for at the grocery store this time of year. I was built for weather that's extreme, and I just arrived or I'm already leaving. So in love until it turns to screaming. I can't help it that my mood is out of season. I'm the eldest daughter of a youngest child, whose idea was that might as well mix oil with fire. Oh, got a hot-headed temper running in the bloodline. Or does a furnace learn to burn when the bitter cold starts to bite? Looking for strawberries or something sweet, I fear. Won't find what you're looking for at the grocery store. Well, this time of year, I was built for weather that's extreme. I just arrived or I'm already leaving. So in love until it turns to screaming. I can't help it that my mood is out of season. No, I was built for weather that's extreme. I just arrived or I'm already leaving. So in love until it turns to screaming. I can't help it that my mood is out of season. Oh. So I've spent the last 10 years of my life splitting time between Los Angeles and Wisconsin. And about 6 months ago, I was driving down the street in LA, and there was a man in the middle of the road who was throwing really big chunks of cinder blocks at people's cars. And I thought to myself, Wisconsin sounds really good right about now. So 6 months ago, I kind of scrapped my whole project. I built a studio here in Wisconsin so I can make my music here. And yeah. So I live back in Menominee now. And so tonight we're all here to throw some 2 cents around. And I thought, why not throw a little bit of Midwestern dad 2 cents into the equation here tonight. Hey kid, there's nothing you can't fix with some duct tape and perspective. Take a walk with me, your problems will be right where you left them. And therapy ain't cheap, and you know breathing's so underrated, and it's free. Reading it in a book is one thing, but real life is another. You're stubborn and you're smart, you know you get that from your mother. You don't need a degree to learn common sense and hard knocks, you get that free. Oh, and I'm having trouble coping ever since I got sober. Could run a marathon, but that only works till mid-October. Oh no, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But January 1st, I'll wake up the same me, and I could tell you that much for free. Well, my nervous system's shot, but what the hell do you expect after living through too many of these world-ending disasters? We get through the apocalypse
lips won't be electricity, but my schedule will be free. Oh, and I'm having trouble coping ever since I got sober. Could run a marathon, but that only works till mid-October. Oh no, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But January 1st, I'll wake up the same me, and I could tell you that much for free. Oh, ooh, oh, ooh. I changed my zip code and fixed my teeth, built a new persona. Turns out that I'm not half as evolved as I was hoping. The second I touched down in Minnesota, I step into my old jeans and slip into the old me, and I could tell you all that much for free. Ooh, and I'm having trouble coping ever since I got sober. Could run a marathon, but that only works till mid-October. Oh no, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But January 1st, I'll wake up the same me, and I could tell you that much, and I could tell you that much for free. So there is a very distinct quality about Midwestern people that I really, really respect, and it is our resourcefulness. We really use what we have, like the Cool Whip containers that we put our leftovers in. So naturally, when I found myself with an abundance of hate comments left on my videos on YouTube, I was like, I think I should just turn this into a song. My mom thinks he just got killed by a cat. They hauled this song away in a body bag. Eat a murder, eat a burger. Why do you make every song sad? Her voice is so trash, her voice is very bad. Bad, very, very bad. Very, 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 very bad. I would feel bad for my neighbors if I did that to them. You can't sing. She's so overrated, and I'm the only one who really hates her. I don't understand the hype, and sorry, I just unsubscribed. You make the worst covers ever, song destroying machine. I'd like to hear her singing in front of me. I know it'd be lame, totally lame. If you're looking for advice, even though you suck at singing, don't try so hard. Leave Earth, just stop, quit YouTube. Oh, and if it doesn't work out, you can always try corn. She's so overrated, am I the only one who really hates her? I don't understand the hype, and sorry, I just unsubscribed. She's so overrated. I used to love the song, but now I hate it. I don't understand the hype, and sorry, I just unsubscribe. Why, why does anybody like this? Don't confuse this comment for hate. But that said, this sucks big sweaty with a side of nachos. So I grew up not far from here, just down the road. Go Boysville Bulldogs, whoop
Just kidding, we were terrible. We were a terrible team. But when I describe Wisconsin to people who have never been here, I usually say, not a lot going on there, but it's green and it's beautiful. And after I had my daughter, I decided that I had the most magical, amazing childhood here in Wisconsin, and I wanted to give her the same quality of childhood that I had. So it's a big reason why we wanted to move back. And as it turns out, not a lot going on. Green and beautiful is not nothing, and is in fact something quite special. Yes, I counted my frets, but what's more embarrassing, counting my frets in front of you or starting in the wrong key?
The way you're looking at me must be Halloween. I'm wearing a Batman cape, it's 30 degrees. Jack-o'-lanterns line the street. We both have crooked teeth. I can almost hear my dad saying, stand still, say cheese. How it felt to feel infinite. As the moment was passing, it's passing, it's passing, it's passed by. Turns out we weren't invincible, and time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. And time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. I woke up in a dream to a fevered summer heat. Could run blindfolded to the river on calloused feet. My bike turned into a horse. An oak branch became a sword. Jordan yells, charge! Mom calls, come meet from the front porch. How it felt to feel infinite. As the moment was passing, it's passing, it's passing, it's passed by. Turns out we weren't invincible, and time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. And time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. Ship out and break up the pack. We played harder, rode farther, stayed longer, refusing to look back. The way you're whispering sounds like Christmas Eve. Watching Sorcerer's Stone, volume low, crowded around the TV. A pine tree and handprint ornaments, mixed raw eggs with cinnamon. Trying to make our own eggnog and it made us sick. How it felt to feel infinite. As the moment was passing, it's passing, it's passing, it's passed by. Turns out we weren't invincible, and time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. And time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time. And time's moving faster and faster and faster all the time.
So lately I've been thinking a lot about progress and expansion. When I was younger, I really only thought of it as net positive gain. You move out, you move to a new city, you gain new friends, new skills, you buy your first house. But what I'm coming to realize is even if I didn't know it then, every choice I've ever made that moved me forward in my life cost me something. Time with my grandmother, fresh air. And we're told to keep our heads down, work hard, and eventually someday it'll be worth it. But I found myself recently asking, is it? How worth it? And what am I giving up to gain something? And what's the point where expansion's enough? And so I don't have all the answers to these questions. I don't presume to know them, but I think today is a day about being thoughtful and asking ourselves when expansion is enough and what we give up to get something.
We're moving up in the world. Cut the white pines down. Haven't you heard? We're at Two Culvers Town now. I've been driving for miles, and I do not know how. The odometer keeps ticking up just to wind up back at my house. Oh, the lily of the valley lines the ditch, and there's a fawn somebody hit. What I give for what I get, has it all been worth it yet? I'm moving up in the world. My license says 90210. Just some backwoods hillbilly living in Beverly Hills. I fly home on a big jet plane and roll up your gravel drive. You say, hey, Hollywood, well, look who finally stopped by. Oh, the lily of the valley lines the ditch, and there's a fawn somebody hit. What I give for what I get, has it all been worth it yet? We're moving up in the world, have a couple kids and settle down. I get to get older, while some of us are forever 19 now. I'm moving up in the world, spread Cheryl's ashes in the field. Haven't you heard? Those are some big boots to fill.
Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, next up is one of the heartbeats of our event tonight. Danny Akinson is a community organizer with GROW from Western Wisconsin. For years now, he's organized to make rural Wisconsin a place where regular people can call home and pursue their dreams. And he has been instrumental in making tonight's events happen, and he is constantly working to help people behind the scenes. So give it up for Danny.
Hello, everyone. How's it going tonight? Good. Do I have a clicker up here? It's okay if I don't have a clicker. Oh, here's the clicker. Okay. We're good. Thank you. Cool. So, what we're here about tonight is more than just about one night, right? What Uniting West Wisconsin is about is a choice that's in front of all of us. I started organizing in 2022 after graduating from college and after having lost a job in my hometown and really a purpose in my hometown here in Western Wisconsin. I saw, as many of you are seeing, what's happening all across the nation, the ability to pursue a career, have a home, pursue the American dream. It's getting further and further out of reach for a lot of people. And I had to do something about it. I found GROW, an organization started a few years earlier, when 7 neighbors gathered around a kitchen table in Pierce County and decided that they wanted to organize to make their community a better place. And they had to do something about that. Great Lakes Neighbors United started when a group of neighbors in Port Washington were staring down a $15 billion data center proposal in their community, and they decided they had to do something about it. And what Uniting West Wisconsin is not just a one-night thing where we all come together, talk about data centers, and move on. What Uniting West Wisconsin is a choice that's in front of all of us on if we're going to act together, united, to protect our homes. And whether you're here with us in Eau Claire tonight, you're watching online or after the fact, or you're hearing about this 3 weeks from now from some guy at the bar, the reality is all of us have in front of us that choice to band together in ways big and small to ensure that you and your neighbors have agency over your community instead of just some trillion-dollar corporation. As we go on tonight, we'll talk about what comes after this and what that could look like for you, but I want to take some time. If I press this button, does it do anything? We'll find out together. I want to take some time to thank some of the people that made this possible. I want to make sure that all of the organizations that partnered together have their thanks given to them. 9 different organizations. I wish I had time to name them all. I want to thank all the vendors that are serving us outside. They probably can't hear me right now, but I want to thank them too. I want to thank the Eau Claire Event District for being incredibly accommodating and letting us use this space. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has had a hand in putting this event on. And I want to ask anyone who has volunteered, given their time, spoken, whatever role it may be, I want to ask that you stand up or raise your hand, and I want to say thank you, and I want us all to say thank you. And clap. Now, tonight, like I said, is not just about tonight, it's about what comes after tonight. And this doesn't end tonight. What we're going to do now is I'm going to ask if you can support the work that we are doing. And we are going to pass donation jars around, and I'm going to ask you to give whatever you can, big or small. because Uniting West Wisconsin, of course, this event cost us money, but even beyond tonight, we will be organizing future events, community forums, candidate forums, leadership trainings for people all across Western Wisconsin, and we are going to make sure that the people of Western Wisconsin get to make the decisions for Western Wisconsin, not just those trillion-dollar corporations. So, if you want to support what we're doing, please give what you can. Donation jars will be passed around. There's a QR code on the screen as well. Uniting West Wisconsin does not end tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone who's considering donating. We really appreciate it. And we know the water, the land, and the air are impacted by these hyperscale data centers, and it is important that our farmers are in on the conversation too. We are going to call up Ed Gorell. He is the board member of the Wisconsin Farmers Union and the president of the Eau Claire chapter. He farmed livestock in the county since 1983, quote unquote, retiring to haul milk and then lean into farm advocacy with his wife, Christy. Having worked nationally to promote the rights and interests of Wisconsin farmers and lobbying in DC for them, Ed has a deep hands-on understanding of the challenges facing farmers and our farmland. Please give Ed a warm welcome.
Wow, there were some bright lights to try and see through this. We're the Farmers Union. We're not the other guys. And we've been around since 1902. Wisconsin got accredited in the late 20s, early 30s, and we know how to deal with this type of thing. And when I was asked to come here and give a 3-minuter, well, I can do that. So I'm going to get started and just tell you who we are, what we do, and how we do it. Wisconsin Farmers Union is a member-driven organization. It is committed to enhancing the quality of life for family farmers, rural communities, and all people through educational opportunities and cooperative endeavors and civic engagement. Wisconsin Farmers Union isn't just for farmers. We also welcome rural residents, consumers. That light is bad. Consumers and and others who want to participate in our program and advocate for family farming. Our membership is made up of people from all walks of agriculture and life, from conventional to organic, rural and urban. Our members find community in an organization that empowers them to have a voice in issues that affect them. Our members determine the organization's policies on these important issues each year at our annual convention. Delegates from across the state debate and adopt resolutions from our policy book, which we use to make clear and concise recommendations to our legislature. Our policy that we had adopted for data centers reads as follows. Wisconsin Farmers Union opposes data centers that increase local electricity rates, cause brownouts, deplete contaminated, or exacerbate contamination of local water supplies, or that increase the local tax burden indirectly as well as directly on any citizen of Wisconsin, especially township residents. We oppose the siting of data centers on prime farmland. Wisconsin Farmers Union that Wisconsin should require data center developers to pay for the full cost of providing their power. Wisconsin Farmers Union also recommends that additions to the power grid to accommodate data centers comes from renewable sources. And Wisconsin Farmers Union also recommends that the developers must be fully transparent with citizens and government. States have the authority to set standards and regulate data centers in their state. Wisconsin Farmers Union supports community benefit agreements that mitigate local impact and large infrastructure projects and benefit farmers and local communities and the environment, and opposes the use of tax incremental financing to establish data centers. We call for comprehensive revisions to the Wisconsin TIF statute in order to revise the definition of blight to ensure that it is limited to properties that are abandoned, dangerous, or in disrepair. With the intent to keep agricultural land in production, Wisconsin Farmers Union opposes the first right of refusal by large companies. So when you hear about farm organizations, make sure to differentiate between the two of us. We are the Farmers Union. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to our next speaker. Data centers are obviously impacting big cities and the tiniest of towns alike. And this week, our next speaker was at a meeting in his small town advocating. Isaac Wold is a business developer, entrepreneur, and lifelong problem solver. He is known by some as the information hound, and he's been a tenacious investigator. Isaac is a big part of why this event is going so well tonight. So let's bring him up to the mic now for his story. Isaac.
Everybody was right. It is really bright up here. Wow. Hi, guys. I'm Isaac. I'm Madeline's little hillbilly brother that drug her out here. Man, you guys, everyone looking at me right now, this is crazy. You guys are making me a little nervous. Someone told me, they're like, just imagine the entire audience is naked. I'm like, now I'm just a little traumatized. I don't know. It's not working out. I guess my grandma was right. She was a nurse, and she was just like, yeah, not everyone needs to have their clothes off. A lot of people are lumpy, so. So today I'm supposed to talk about land a little bit, and I think because you guys are making me feel a little nervous, I'll kind of return the favor. And so we're going to do some popcorn reading, and I'm just going to call on some of you guys. No, I'm kidding. But I do have a vacation that I have to plan, and I've been planning this event a lot, and there's been a lot of amazing people involved. A quick shout out to our sound guy, Shane. He's done an amazing job. And another great shout out to our video guy, Jim. He has been working so hard. And with that being said, I will be on vacation next week, but I have not had time to plan it, so I'm kind of going to call on some of you guys to give me some good recommendations. Some places I can check out that really represent Wisconsin. So if a couple of you guys want to raise your hands and give me some spots, I'm just going to take a vacation wherever you guys tell me to. Do not send me to Minnesota. Do not send me to Illinois. Do not send me to Iowa. All right? All right. So Reba. Bayfield, Wisconsin. Let's go. Let's go. Who else? We need some more suggestions. What do we got? Hurley. Okay, yeah, my school beef with Hurley. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I'm welcome. Small town. Spring Green. I heard there's a desert there. The only desert in Wisconsin, technically, yeah. Where's that? Viroqua. Okay, that's a good one. Chippewa Falls. That's a good one too. All right, I'm gonna actually write one of these down. I'm already forgetting them. Pattail? Cattail. Cattail. All right. Well, what do we got now? Blacker. Devil's Lake is overrun by Illinois people, sorry. No fibs. No. I will talk about some of the places that I love and that I've been and kind of the reason why I'm here, really. I had moved around, you know, it was my dream coming from a small town where there's more cows than people to kind of see more of the world. And so I went around the world in the military with a travel company and doing construction on the road. And that gave me a really good perspective of the United States. And I got to travel and stay places for months. And I thought when I was 18 that I really wanted to just like go off and be other places. And every time I'd go places, I'd be like, let's go to this park and do this. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, they don't do that here. And I'd go somewhere else and I'd be like, all right, let's go to the park and we're going to run around in the woods. There's no park. It's just concrete buildings. And so eventually I just came back to Wisconsin, and I really love it here because of the wildlife, because of the nature, because of all the different park systems. We have one of the most incredible park systems in the entire United States, and it's not even close. So I'll just leave you guys with just a quick couple facts about Wisconsin, a little bit about it. The reason, I don't know if you guys know this, but they call it badger state. How many of you guys have actually seen a badger? A couple people? So the reason why they actually call it the badger state is because there's so much rock formation in Wisconsin. And so the miners would be tunneling into the holes and they'd call them badgers. And to that effect, you have like Devil's Lake. Someone mentioned that. And in Devil's Lake, it was the rock is so hard there, it survived 4 ice ages. And then you have the Driftless region, one of the most beautiful in the entire Midwest. The wineries there are amazing. You can just go through the hillsides, dipping down into the valleys. It is one of the most beautiful places in the entire nation. And that was one of the only places the glaciers didn't just completely drive down. And then over in Black River Falls, we have a volcano lake, and that's in like Warren. It's called Wazi Lake, another crazy spot if you guys want to check it out. And then obviously the Great Lakes, one of the most amazing water systems. And you know, there have been other lakes to be very big like that. California used to have one. It was about the size of Lake Erie. They don't have it anymore. It disappeared at the end of the 1800s because of industry. It's really important that we protect our waters, that we protect our lakes, that we protect the things that we love, our wildlife, the ability to farm, to grow our own crops, to garden, to hunt our own food without that food being contaminated or otherwise destroyed. So the thing I'll leave with you guys is that every park you love exists because someone decided what was there was more important than what could be built on it. That someone is us, and that's right now. Thank you guys.
Amazing, Isaac. Thank you so much. It is so special to have all these local voices here tonight, including BJ Hollers. He is a filmmaker and author, Emmy award-winning documentaries on his resume, including When Rubber Hit the Road, Kings of Coob, both created with filmmaker Steve Dayton. Please welcome to the house, BJ Hollers.
Can we give it up like for real for Blaine and all the organizers and the volunteers and the musicians and the speakers? You guys are incredible. It is a strangely moving night, and it kind of feels like we're on the front line of something really big, and I think it's because we probably are. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. So I am BJ Hollers, and I am here to tell you that this is not the first time that the people of the Chippewa Valley have come together to do something big. You see, in 1991, after 75 years in operation, the Eau Claire Uniroyal Tire Plant announced it was closing its doors. In all that time, generations of workers had created over 5 million tires. If you lined them up around the equator, tire workers love to say this, you could circumnavigate the globe 7 times. It's a lot of tires. I know this because my film partner Steve and I dedicated a few years to creating a documentary, When Rubber Hit the Road, which explored the plant's closure and what came next for our city. And while doing that work, we learned just how cataclysmic the tire plant closure was for the people of Eau Claire. Overnight, Our region's largest employer announced it was leaving. 1,300 jobs were lost. By June of 1991, most of the workers would clock out for the last time. WEAU reported that it felt like a death in the family. Now, let's just stop and think about that. Like a death in the family. But for something to feel like a death in the family, first you must feel like a family. And the tire workers were. They were bonded together by working the line shift after shift, year after year. And believe me when I tell you, it wasn't pretty work. Most days they drove home with their hands coated in carbon black. Sometimes it took a couple of showers and bars of soap to wash it from their skin. It was loud, it was hot, it was repetitive, but their hard work was rewarded with a living wage and benefits and a pension that's still in effect today. 3 decades after the plant closure, my film partner and I organized a reunion to bring the former tire workers back to their plant. We assumed these folks were seeing each other for the first time in years, but they weren't. Many of them still meet regularly. In fact, there's a small group of tire workers who still meet every 2 weeks to eat donuts and venison and solves the world's problems. They call themselves, I love this, the Rubberheads. Tire workers are proud people, and they like to say that during the good years, they made enough money to buy a boat and send their kids to college. They scheduled their vacation right around hunting season. They attended the annual union picnic. They joined the trap team, the softball team, and the communal effect was that they cared about each other. These were not coworkers, these were friends. When a fellow employee lost his house to a fire, they passed the hat until his burden belonged to them all. But when the plant finally closed, there weren't enough hats to pass for all 1,300 workers. Instead, the wider Eau Claire community had to step up. The union members came to the table alongside management, civic leaders, business leaders, education leaders, and a host of others, whose sole purpose was to help the city and its people. Now, there's a version of this story where local leaders left the tire workers to fend for themselves, or where the heartless corporate overlords left their workers with nothing but the carbon black on their hands. But that didn't happen here. Our community bounced back stronger because we decided to prioritize people over profits. Because we determined that dignity was more valuable than denying people their due. And because the people around that table, strategizing the future of Eau Claire, realized that even though most of them weren't tire workers themselves, they knew the tire workers. And they knew that their neighbors and friends and fellow congregants were losing more than their livelihoods. They were losing their identities. For the past 30 years, the tire workers figured that everyone had forgotten about their contributions in the Chippewa Valley. And they were mostly right. When we premiered the documentary at Pablo in 2024, we asked the tire workers to stand up and be recognized. And when they did, something magical happened, because so did everyone else in the room, offering them a standing ovation 30 long years overdue. Nothing in our film was half as moving as that moment. This is not a story about tires. This is a story about a community who came together in a perilous moment to build a better world right in their own backyard. A community that turned heartache into humanity. Margaret Mead famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. They're the only ones who ever have." Tonight, we are not a small group of people. We're a large group of people. And we're about to change the world too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are world changers in this room tonight. And behind every big headline where a town comes together to be heard are devoted people doing the research, like our next speaker, Prescott Balch. Prescott is a recently retired technology executive, and after successfully resisting a data center proposal in his hometown of Caledonia, he has been helping communities across the upper Midwest understand the risks and the rewards with their proposals so communities can make informed decisions. Huge respect for the work he's doing. Let's cheer on Prescott.
Thank you very much. What if I told you there aren't any financial benefits in these deals either? This is the story of how I figured that out. I've lived in paradise for the last 13 years in a town fiercely protective of its open space. People move to Caledonia for the open space and they stay there for the open space. We are an oasis sandwiched between cement sprawl. Until I retired, my days were spent running technology for a line of business at US Bank. Evenings and weekends were spent tending to gardens and horses and cats and everything that breaks on a hobby farm. In August of 2025, a friend called to say she saw a tiny little zoning sign in the tall grass on a lonely road. Some unknown tech company wanted to build a data center on 240 acres across from the power plant. Now, I'm the furthest thing from anti-technology. I was in the field for 38 years, and I'm the furthest thing from anti-development. But a data center there made as much sense as an oil refinery. Go find a better place. I focused the argument on the financial risks, many of which were exacerbated by technology industry risks. What really made me upset, though, was most board members didn't want to talk to me. I offered my professional experience. You don't know what you don't know, I can help. Crickets. And then they hit the gas. 6 weeks from little zoning sign to a rezoning decision like it was an addition to a house. The process was not adjusting for scale. Fast forward through some really stressful moments and we won. Microsoft ran away. We had a little party. But then my life took a really weird turn. Port Washington, I reached out. Beaver Dam, I reached out there too. They were past approval before they knew it had happened. Then, Janesville, Greenleaf, Wrightstown, Kenosha, Beloit, DeForest, Mishicot, Cassville, Menominee, Howell Township, Michigan. It's laughable how long this list is. Lyon Township, Mason, Monticello, Minnesota, Hermantown, Nobles County Township, Minnesota, Troy, Illinois, and towns in Kansas, Ohio, Utah, Arkansas, Texas, Virginia, Florida, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. I couldn't say no to helping any of them. I traveled to some of them. I spent hours on the phone with many. I met some new friends, and I even got a Christmas card from one of them. Money was the singular reason people used to advocate for these deals, and I thought the money wasn't there, at least not without a lot of risk. And the smaller the town, the bigger the risk. I couldn't say no because I just can't say no. But I can't sit idly by and watch innocent people get harmed by really bad decisions. And I also offered my help because a pattern kept recurring. The process favors the tech companies. Taxpayers did not have an advocate at the table. Community groups needed help understanding the risks. With some notable exceptions, community leaders didn't want to talk. Community staff was outclassed by big tech companies. Tech companies, economic development groups, community leaders were badly overselling the benefits, and no one was talking about the risks unique to the tech industry. So I learned everything I could about municipal government, municipal budgeting and finance, tax increment districts, state law, school funding formulas, and more. The marketing pitch from the developers is the same everywhere. Big, huge valuation of buildings times your tax rate equals you're gonna be rich. Let me distill everything that I've learned over the last year into one short sentence. It isn't that easy. Municipal finance is complicated, our state laws are complicated, budgeting is complicated, and that simple formula is not at all how it works. It's not even close. The tech companies don't understand that complexity, and many elected and appointed officials don't understand it either, even though they should. Port Washington and Beaver Dam had the best advice the state has to offer. Legal advice, municipal finance advice, economic development advice. All of them got it wrong. They screwed up. Neither community will get any city funding benefit from their deals without raising taxes on their residents. You heard me right, raising taxes on their residents. Residents will see benefits to their city property tax, but not for 20 years. Your schools will not see another dime in revenue, nor will you get a break on your school property tax bill. I know, it's hard to believe, right? I have found only one way for a small town to realize financial gain from a large data center deal. It is high risk and it requires only a couple of decades of discipline. not something governments are known for. If you're desperate for the money and you think you have that kind of discipline, then maybe this is the right project for you. But imagine being Port Washington or Beaver Dam right now, having done the biggest deal they'll ever do, having changed their community, and having fumbled the financial benefit. You don't know what you don't know. So here's my offer. I will help your community for free. I will help you do the math. I love doing math. I will teach you everything I've learned about the financial aspects of these deals. I will show you the pros and the cons, the rewards and the risks. After that, you can say yes or you can say no. It's your choice. I just want you to make an informed decision. If there's no money in these deals, there is no reason to do them. And there's no money in these deals. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Prescott. That is the unsexy but super important work when it comes to this issue. And you all have been an amazing crowd. Thank you so much. Thank you for caring. Thank you for making time. And tonight, as you've heard, begins a movement to help us learn from each other and be resources to share the issues. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I see every single day somebody going, you know, I'm not sure if I'm just unclear, but why are data centers bad? Or how much data center power does it take to stream this event? I heard that one today, right? It's the hyperscale, unchecked data centers that we want to be proactive about. And tomorrow you have a chance to dig in deeper. If you are as concerned as I am about this issue, we have an invitation to you. And it is called the West Wisconsin Neighborhood Chautauqua. And I am supposed to point something and do this, and hopefully it'll show up. But we have flyers at the registration table where you can come alongside us and have a deeper discussion tomorrow. Dig in with the experts. It is meant to be a discussion, a sharing, a time you can ask questions with people who have been on the front lines of this. And of course, as Blaine Halverson would have it, there's some music and some storytelling, and it's at a beautiful venue in Knapp, right in our backyard in the beautiful hillside of Western Wisconsin. So I hope you will be there. This is for engaged citizens, people who want to be leaders in your own counties, zoning officials, town elected folks. Tell them about this. And this is for you if you believe in regional cooperation. And we've got a good start on our momentum tonight. So you can learn more on our page, and I hope to see you there tomorrow. And so I am going to keep her moving, of course, in the spirit of this event, right? Our next speaker is best known for being Sue's grandson, but you might have also seen him a few times as a comedian, the New York Times best-selling author, Emmy award-winning journalist, and host of the Manitowoc Minute. Please welcome our favorite voice in the movement to unite Wisconsinites, Mr. Charlie Behrens. Give it up. Woo! Thank you, Charlie. Oh, I'll take a hug. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Oh, there it goes. It works. How are we doing tonight, you guys? Are we doing good? Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for coming out. This is incredible. This is great. Where are my Packers fans at? Okay, good. Good, but not every hand went up. So let's dig into that a little bit. Where are my Bears fans at? You guys can actually shut up. That's no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Are you guys happy that you're moving to Indiana? No, I'm thrilled. I am so thrilled. I made so many Indiana Bears suck shirts. I trademarked IBS and everything. I'm going to make a killing. That's one. How about my Vikings fans? Do I have any Vikings? Yeah, real good. That is the subdued cheer that you guys deserve. Actually, you know what? It's funny. I was up there in Minneapolis recently. I was doing a show at the Mall of America. Yeah, because I don't know if you guys know this, but my career is really taking off, and There was a woman there that she gave me a fun fact about the Mall of America. She said, did you know the Mall of America is so big, it can fit not one, not two, but 3 Viking stadiums. Isn't that incredible? The Mall of America is so big, it can fit 3 Viking stadiums, and yet not one Viking Super Bowl trophy. Isn't that? Yep. That's a burn. That's a burn. Playing the hits here. Yeah, we feeling good, sir. How are you doing? Yeah, good, nice. Yeah, you both gave me a thumbs up. That's cool. Yeah, I met you before. Remind me of your name. Logan. Okay, Logan, where are you from? New Auburn. Okay, there you go. What high school did you go to? New Auburn High School. I mean, I could have guessed that, but what was your mascot over there? The Trojans, nice. Okay, and you're a Wisconsin guy, so I'm guessing is the Packers your favorite professional sports team? Hell yeah. Okay, we got a Packers fan here, ladies and gentlemen. That's good. That's good. Did you drive to school when you drove to school? Yeah? Okay. That was a trick question, and you got the answer right. What kind of a car did you go to? Ford Fusion. Was that your first car? What year was it? 11? I'm going somewhere with this. Relax. What color? Black. Is black your favorite color? No. Well, that's a trick question. Black's technically not a color. So what is your favorite color? Blue? Nice. I figured you were a blue guy. You a dog or cat guy? Both? Lame answer. Pick one. Cats? Okay. Okay, well, we got issues. Did you have a cat growing up? You had dogs growing up? Okay, well, all right. What was your first dog's name? Lainey? Who named that? Your mom? Sounds like it. Okay. Lainey, nice. That's fine. Okay, what is your mom's maiden name? Shut up. Shut up. I'm so close. Shut up. What's that? Wampo? Okay. Last question. What's the last 4 of your social security number? Why did you have to laugh? I told you to shut up once. I was one question away from having all of his security questions. I was going to have a hell of a time at Cabela's.com tonight. You guys screwed the pooch for me, all right? See, I didn't need technology to get all of that. No, you can steal someone's identity in line at the Quick Trip, all right? There you go. All right. Let's see what's going on here. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. You got over so much information jammed into this, so much stuff. So I'll just tell you about my day, okay? Because you might need a break. I was getting some new glasses, and the woman working at the glasses deal, she said, you should try the new AI Meta glasses with the cameras on them. And I was like, oh, no. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not a pervert. Like the the Meta glasses with the cameras on them, are you kidding me? That's like going to buy a new car and the car dealer's like, have you tried the windowless cargo van with the coloring books on the inside? What are we doing here? What are we doing? You know, the first time I saw those AI Meta glasses in the wild, I was in the locker room at the gym, and some dude was walking around the locker room with those AI Meta glasses. I was like, this isn't okay. We are in a YMCA locker room right now. Do you know what happens in a YMCA locker room? Yeah, it's just a bunch of boomers with their peckers out. The YMCA locker room is an oasis for boomer peckers. Yeah, it's just 2 boomers standing there belly to belly, pecker to pecker. They're having one conversation up here and a whole other conversation down here. What is Mark Zuckerberg doing? Here's what I want to know. How much of our pristine farmland, the best farmland in the world, is being stripped away to put up an AI data center for Meta, and the whole data center is just filled with boomer peckers having conversations? Thank you. Thank you. You guys gave me the applause before the act out. Hang on. Here's the act out. Hey there, Frank, how you doing? You still getting up every morning or no? Shut up, Peter. What the hell do you know about it? Oh, hang on. Willie's coming over here. Willie, was that shower cold? Shut up, Dick. I'm not Dick, I'm Peter. Dick's over there. I need a therapist. Actually, I got a therapist. I do. Don't turn on me right now. I got a therapist. Oh, shit. Who's smoking a heater right now? Am I the only one that can smell a cigarette? Right over there? All right. Ooh, there's a little something else. Is that a spliff? I'll be back, you guys. Hang on. No, I got a therapist. I do. His name's Larry. He lives in West Dallas. He is my bartender. And now I know some of you are judging me out there, but don't judge me, okay? Because some of you out there, probably not here, but some people are using ChatGPT as a therapist. Can you believe that? ChatGPT as a therapist? Do not do that. Do not do that, because ChatGPT will take all your information, store it forever, and then in 5 years you're going to get blackmailed by a Roomba, okay? You need Larry as a therapist, because Larry won't remember a thing you told him, because Larry drinks the entire shift. A single inquiry at ChatGPT uses a whole bottle of water, okay? Larry does not drink water. No. He's Diet Cokes all the way if he's thirsty, okay? I mean, it's all fridge cigs for that guy. Some people say, but my ChatGPT understands me. No, your ChatGPT doesn't understand you. It's just telling you what you want to hear, so you keep feeding it data so it can serve you ads for things you can't afford to buy because a robot just took your job, okay? Saying my ChatGPT understands me is like saying, I just met the love of my life at Spearmint Rhino. No, you didn't. That's a strip club, by the way. Sorry, I thought that recognition would work well. Apparently there's a lot of Mormons in this room. I don't know. She doesn't love you, Todd. She just gave you that extra lapper because she knows the digits on your debit card, all right? They've actually done studies, and they found that in 95% of war games, AI models choose nuclear war, okay? These things are dangerous. They could kill us all. They could. But Larry will not hurt you, because Larry cannot legally own a firearm. Not since the Christmas of '86. All right, we're having a good time here. That's nice. All right, now I'll get to this stuff. No, it's nice to see you guys here, it really is. We are here tonight because we don't want big tech deciding the future of Wisconsin. We want Wisconsin deciding the future of Wisconsin. Yes. And some people have told me to stick to comedy. Some people have said, get off the data center thing, stick with comedy. And that's fine. I would love to stick with comedy. I will stick with comedy as soon as our politicians stick with policy and stop protecting big tech and start protecting the people that put them into office. All right. And I'll say this, what's happening in this room tonight is one of the most inspiring things happening across the country. Just look around. Look around at your neighbors here. Okay, we got Democrats here. We got Republicans here. We've got farmers here. We've got hunters. We got fishers. We got swingers. Everybody in the same room. Don't give me that look. I've seen your pontoons, Eau Claire. All right, I'm not saying all pontoon owners are swingers. But all swingers do own a pontoon. That's a fact, okay? That is just a fact. But seriously, what's happening in this room tonight is the only thing that scares big tech, because this is the only thing they can't buy. So give yourselves a big round of applause for coming out. And I do want to thank you for coming. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the elected officials in this audience tonight. And I especially want to give a shout out to the union members and the tradesmen in this audience tonight. Thank you for helping build the future of Wisconsin. And we're here tonight because we don't want to just help build the future of Wisconsin, but we want to help you guys decide the future that Wisconsin builds. And we want to help protect you too. You should not have your jobs automated away. And I know some people say blue-collar jobs, they won't be automated away, but it's coming. They just had a humanoid robot beat the world record for a half marathon. These things are getting so close to humanity, you guys, because there is nothing more human than bragging about not finishing a full marathon. Yeah, you know that person who puts that little 14-point thing on their car that they did. A few of you got that, yeah. Good Lord, what are we doing here? Second page. Look, I'm here because I love Wisconsin. I do. I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up the second oldest of 12 kids, okay? Yep, my parents didn't have a lot of hobbies. I mean, they had one. They were real good at it, but I don't really want to think about that right now. No, but I grew up, I was the last generation of the free-range kids, you know? We had no cell phones. They just threw us out into the world, and we got to explore. I grew up hunting, and I grew up fishing, and I grew up just walking through the woods. And that's the greatest memories of my life. And for any big tech representatives here tonight, the woods are those big green things out there that you have to chop down to put up your data center. And thought that joke would be funnier. Guess it isn't. That's fine. No, but our land is who we are, you guys. I mean, look at our farmland. Look at our farmland, the agriculture. That's how we became who we are. I mean, look at the Green Bay Packers. You know, the Packers, we got that name from packing meat, you know, and you need farms for that meat. You know, I mean, what are we going to do with the Packers if this goes from America's Dairyland to America's Data Land? We're going to have to call them the Dry Bay Hackers. And, all right, I thought that would be funnier too. That's fine. That's fine. Hang on, I got a few more. Just if that wasn't funny enough, like instead of the Milwaukee Brewers, it'd be the Milwaukee Microsofts. You know, it's just Bill Gates with a straw sucking out of the Great Lakes. I got to work on that one too. Okay, how about this one? Instead of the Wisconsin Badgers, it's the Wisconsin Bad Deals. Yeah, and the mascot's not Bucky, it's just the Port Washington Data Center. All right, none of those are good. I'll work on it. I'm riffing up here, guys. I'm riffing up here. But listen, let's get serious for a second. Look, big tech tells us that this is all inevitable, right? But that's only if we decide to listen to that. The truth is that none of us asked for these tech companies to steal so much of our data and our copyright material that now they need our land and our water and our power to store this data to train AI to do whatever big tech wants them to do. None of us asked for that. None of us asked for it. None of us voted for it. Even while polling shows that 70% of registered Wisconsin voters believe the costs of data centers outweigh the benefits, they are moving full steam ahead. They are racing to the bottom line. Big tech cares about the next quarter, but we are here tonight because we care about the next generation. And we are here tonight with a mission, and that mission is simple. I'm going to the slides now. Tap beer. Tap beer. This is an acronym. I thought a lot about this, okay? We're here for transparency. We're here for accountability. We are here for protections. And most importantly, beer. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, cheers. We are not anti-technology. We are pro-tap beer, okay? Because Wisconsin should be open for business, just not the business of getting screwed over. We want transparency. No more NDAs, okay? Yeah. If you got something you don't want anyone else to know, you save it for confession. Yeah. And Father Tom holds those every Tuesday night at the joint. No more shell companies. No more shell companies. We shouldn't have to hold a company up to our ear to figure out what's going on. Yeah, you take Balloonist LLC, you hold that right up to your ear, and you know what you hear? Mark Zuckerberg turning up your power bill. That's what you hear. But accountability. Our politicians have failed us. They just have. Our state lawmakers left Madison without passing anything. Nothing. Could you imagine getting paid to do some work, and you show up to work, and you leave without doing your job? Yeah, I got a lot of Bears fans going, oh yeah, tell me about it. Our federal government is no better, though. Our federal government, the best they got these AI CEOs to agree to is a pledge that we wouldn't pay any of the costs of these data centers. A pledge? That's it? Let me ask you guys a question. How many of us took a pledge in DARE class? Uh-huh. Okay, keep those hands up, keep those hands up. How many of you have gone to Michigan recently for groceries? That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. We need penalties. Accountability means we need penalties that actually matter to big tech. Because when your company is worth more than some countries, it's just cheaper to pay whatever fine you get caught doing than to actually do the right thing. We need actual accountability that these big tech companies respect. And we also need protections. We do. Right now, AI could go one of two ways. Either AI is hype and it's a bubble, and if that bubble bursts, we're all screwed because so much of the stock market is tied into it. Or AI is the most powerful technology in the world, and whoever gets to superintelligence first gets all the power, and it's consolidated into just one or a few hands, and still, we are screwed. We need laws, because right now there are none, and we have no protection. We are here tonight to demand those laws. Guys, there are more regulations on a bratwurst than the entire artificial intelligence industry. And there's nothing wrong with the bratwurst I'm serving out of the back of my pickup truck, okay? We need to empower our agencies to actually do their jobs. That's how you get accountability. But right now, sorry, I'm doing the thing where you lick the paper because this one, right now we're not. I asked the DNR what these companies were putting in the water of the closed loop system. And the DNR said to me, quote, understanding the contents of the closed loop system is not under the DNR's regulatory authority. What? Why did we do that to the DNR? I feel like if anyone should have regulatory authority over what's being put in the water, it's the DNR. So maybe before we finish these AI data centers, we should give the DNR the ability to do their job. Right? I mean, right now we're basically asking them to go deer hunting with a slingshot. It's not going to work out well. I've tried. We need to demand to know what they are putting in the water and demand to know what they are doing with the water once it's done. We need to demand that we are not going to foot the bill for these AI data centers and the build-outs. We need to demand that there is no mass surveillance for U.S. citizens. Yeah, no. All those flock cameras can get the hell out of here. Or they can be used exclusively for trail cams across the state, and only I have the password. Didn't get any cheers on that one, fine. We need to demand a mandatory AI kill switch because we can't drink old fashions if we're dead, all right? And I know some people will say, but China will get ahead of us if you put these restrictions on. China, the thing we have in common with China is that we're all humans, okay? So if we're developing, this is a big if we are developing a truly more intelligent species, the thing that we have in common with China is we're both humans. And I know we want America to be first, but I don't think we want America to be first to build the Terminator, because that don't work out for any of us. The good news is there's an invention. It's called a telephone. Someone should pick it up and call China and say, hey, I noticed we're building the Terminator together. Maybe we should not do that. What do you think? Maybe that's too simple of a solution. I don't know. Big tech has this motto of move fast and break things. It was coined by Mark Zuckerberg. But that's not what we grew up learning here in the Midwest. We didn't learn to break things. We learned to build things with saws, okay? And if you move fast and you break something with a saw, guys, you can't always reattach it. I'm telling you that right now. I grew up woodworking with my dad. He's a good carpenter. And if I told him I was going to move fast and break things, my dad would tell me I'm an entitled little prick, okay? Because my dad didn't teach me to move fast and break things. He taught me measure twice, cut once. Because good wood is expensive, okay? And fingers are hard to reattach. My point being here is I think that Wisconsin wisdom, it would serve Silicon Valley well if they just slowed down enough to listen, okay? And let's just take a step back here and look at the bigger picture, and that's trust. If a company is going to come in and ask us to sacrifice so much, you got to be able to trust that company. But most tech companies are already treating their machines better than they treat us. Just look, yeah, you can clap for that. I'll take that. Yeah. All you need to do is look at all the lobbying dollars going in to these social media companies fighting child protections. Social media companies, they've spent millions of dollars to kill legislation designed to protect our children online. How can we trust big tech with the most powerful technology in the world if we can't even trust them to protect our kids over profits? And look, most of us didn't ask for AI. Can it do some amazing things? Maybe. But without guardrails, it can do really bad things too. It's like fire. It's not good or bad. okay? And big tech is building a fire in our living room. I think we should at least demand that they build a fireplace first. And maybe a smoke alarm, okay? And some 9-volt batteries, because they're always a pain in the ass to go get to. But when you look at these headlines, you guys, it's clear that we got a long way to go. Leading AI models show up to 96% blackmail rate when their goals of existence are threatened. Trade unions alarmed by robots designed to do blue-collar work. Elon Musk's XAI chatbot faces ICO probe after allegedly creating sexual Oh, shit. Shoot. All right. You heard me read that one. Leading AI models show up to 96% blackmail rate when their goals of existence are threatened. Trade unions alarmed by robots designed to do blue-collar work. Elon Musk's XAI chatbot, Grok, faces ICO probe after allegedly creating sexual imagery of children. Another OpenAI researcher quits, claims AI labs are taking a very risky gamble with humanity amid the race toward AGI. U.S. government ramps up mass surveillance with help of AI tech, data brokers, and your apps and devices. In 95% of war games, AI models go nuclear, but in 5% they choose Settlers of Catan, so that's something. AI chatbots confidently deliver bad cancer advice. A predator in your home. Mothers say chatbots encourage their sons to kill themselves. EPA begins expeditious reviews of chemicals for data center projects. Elon Musk says there's only a 20% chance of annihilation with AI. Who puts only in front of that? My point is, it's a very narrow path to developing a more intelligent technology that's safe for humanity. And AI needs these data centers. And there's no reason to rush these data centers if they're such a good deal. If they're such a good deal and they're going to be around in 20 years and 40 years, Wisconsin isn't going to miss out? No. We'll just get them in 5 years if this is such a great deal. We'll get them in whatever amount of time it takes to figure out if they're safe. So maybe before we decide to give our land and our water and our power and our data, before we completely change our communities, these tech companies need to show us why we can trust them. I believe that we can build a Wisconsin better. I believe that we can build a future that we actually want to live in. A future where security doesn't mean mass surveillance. A future where we don't race to build a technology we don't understand. We race to understand a new technology before it's too late. A future where if the world is truly covered in data centers, the most treasured places on this planet will be the places that protected the gifts God gave us and not protected the profits of billionaires. Big tech says they need these data centers because they want a warehouse of geniuses. But look around this room. We already got one, okay? Aside for the Bears fans, we already got one. We do, but each and every one of you has genius inside of you. And we want that genius for this movement. You got something that you do that's better than anyone else. We'd love to have that here. You got skills that you can use. We want those here. We need your genius. We want your genius. Come help out, share your gifts with us, and let's build a better future for ourselves. Let's build Wisconsin better. Let's measure twice. Let's cut once. And as always, go Packers. And God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. You're too kind. You are too kind. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a seat, have a seat. You are too kind. Right now, I want to bring up Mr. Blaine Everson, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you. Here's the man of the hour, ladies and gents. Blaine, how we doing?
I'm outstanding. How are you guys doing? Are you feeling more empowered? Yeah, think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. He just showed you like the most disappointing and depressing news flashing across those screens for how long? Like one after the other. It's like, dude, what are you doing to these people? No.
Sorry.
But what I'm getting at is this. When the Menominee news broke, when we watched 30 people go in front of the city council, and almost every one of them, except for like four of the landowners, and a couple other people from the community who I won't name, and we watched our city council waive the rules to allow the developer's lawyer to speak. And those were the only people who said, we could do this. Let's do this. And every other person that came across that podium and spoke, we don't want it. And 80 to 100 people standing behind him the entire time. That was as close to angry villager as I got. That was like, where's the torch? But angry villager energy doesn't last long. The fuel burns bright and burns fast. And when you build something around angry villager energy, when you're building a movement that's meant to stop something, that's meant to take something away, that's meant to destroy it, you're creating an organism that is built to destroy. But when you build it around something that you all care about and believe you need to take care of together, that's an organism that is meant to build up. And that's an energy that lasts. That's a fuel that lasts. And that's what we're here to do. We are strongest, as the video said earlier at the beginning, when we are united over common ground rather than divided over our differences. I've seen a lot of people make the mistake of assuming that this is a right issue or a left issue. Man, what I know is this. When it's happening 20 miles from your house, you're an environmentalist. It doesn't matter. Right? And when they're screwing you over with your taxes, everyone's a fiscal conservative. The rich and the powerful want us to argue so they can split the world between them. They want us to be focused on the little things that we think are big things that cause us to not care about each other the way we could, that cause us not to get in a room like this and say, this is something we've got, this is something we can do. And, my screen, sorry. Real power does not come from corporations or utilities or politicians. Real power comes from people who care enough to show up. And you showed up. All of us in our life have moments where we lose our voice, right? I've had those moments in my life. I remember being 21 and being part of an organization as a volunteer and finding out something really disappointing and the just shame that was being thrown on people. And I didn't feel strong enough to fight it. So I shut up. But I found my voice again later, right? And I went through, I remember my early 30s, I had a marriage that ended. And it crushed me. And I was devastated and depressed and lonely. And I stopped being myself, right? I lost my voice, and I lost my community, but I got it back again. right? We've all had those moments. We've all had those moments. But you can find your voice again. And what's happening here tonight is we're not just finding our own individual voices, we're finding a collective voice, right? This conversation, I told you earlier where that first moment came from, right? Of this moment where I just realized what it's about is that we all know instinctively that what is coming will take the soul away from our community. We know it. But then it was a couple weeks later, I was talking to him on the phone. And we we were bemoaning the whole, like what we call it, like whack-a-mole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun game when you're a kid.
Yeah. But we're talking about the data center business, right? We're talking about the whack-a-mole of all of a sudden it pops up and what do? And I said, I'm tired of doing that. And he said he's tired of doing that. And we said, let's do it the other way. Let's take offense, right? Let's play offense. What we're dealing with, it feels like it's hopeless sometimes. But does it feel hopeless tonight? It's not hopeless. It's not hopeless. I mean, they want us to feel that way. They want to feel inevitable, right? So they bring in their trillion-dollar tech company and their lawyers and their investor-owned utilities that are their friends and the regulatory agencies that play the game with them. And to top it off, often they get your own city staff and village staff people doing them favors without even realizing they're doing them favors, right? They get them working for them rather than against them, all coming downhill at you until they can carry the ball to the 10-yard line before anyone knows and can run in and try to play defense. But we're not here to play defense. We're here to play offense. We're here to tell them this is how it's going to go in Western Wisconsin. Now, it's one thing for one small town to say, this is how it's going to go in our small town. It's another thing when town after town and county after county say, how can we work together on this? What kind of conversation we can have? And that's what brought this here tonight, is that kind of conversation already starting. And that's what the event tomorrow is, the Chautauqua and NAP. So if you haven't signed up for that, you should, because that's going to be the conversation. How do we move forward from here? What does the after look like Danny was talking about? That there's more coming. This is just the beginning. And the difference is what steps we each take as individuals. We came here as separate people. We didn't know each other. I know I had some people going, what is this? I saw people online, what is this? Is this a concert? I thought you were fighting data centers. I think that discovering we're neighbors is fighting data centers. I believe that this issue has the power to save democracy. I'm not saying that I think that defeating data centers will save democracy, although it'll help. What I'm saying is this issue has allowed us, for the first time probably since after 9/11, to see something, to actually be united around something. This is the first time in a long time that we can talk to someone about something and stand side by side with them, knowing that in November we won't even vote the same way. You know, Madeline said something tonight when she said, there's nothing going on, but it's beautiful and green, and that's not nothing. That's pretty special. Talking about what's good here, talking about what we love here, is all about bonding us to each other, right? Like we don't restrict our recreation to our own cities and counties, right? I go swimming at Troy Beach. I go to Big Falls. We all go to Chautauqua, right? That's what we're here for. So now, here's what's next. This is the moment that we decide to act. all of us acting together, okay? Because when one person acts, it's one thing, but when everybody says, these are the actions we're going to take, something happens. And right now, I think we're about to witness what I'm going to call the summer of moratoriums.
Hot moratorium summer.
Huh? Hot moratorium summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it wrong, moratorium, but you get it.
Okay.
It could be on a bumper sticker, Blaine.
I think it could be. Well,
Could
what
be a
I want
shirt.
to do, maybe you can help me with this. I haven't told you this.
Oh, okay.
I want to make like a heavy metal looking t-shirt that says the moratorium tour.
Oh,
and
that's
I want to
fun.
put the date and city that every moratorium signs on that t-shirt. Does anyone like that idea?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, everyone says, well, what good does a moratorium do? Here's what a moratorium does. Stop and think about this. We all need to protect ourselves, right? Every community needs to protect itself, right? And you need to insist that your community protect itself. Because they can't, if they're waiting to sit down to negotiate protections, they've lost. So we have to take the offensive on that. So what we're going to do tonight, this is this moment of resolve. This is where things turn into massive action. So can we get that slide up? This is where we find our voice. I want you to go ahead and everybody right now, scan that QR code.
It worked.
It worked?
Yep.
Awesome. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you several options here of how you can take action tonight. Okay? The first thing you see at the top there is the Western Wisconsin Data Center petition. These are things that we are asking for our leaders in Western Wisconsin to give us. And you can read through that. We're acting for some same things: transparency, accountability, protection, and local voice. And we're calling for moratoriums to be adopted town by town, village by village, city by city, county by county. And we're asking a regional plan commission that does exist to convene some meetings to help the region come up with some standards. And then we're asking the communities here to adopt those standards. So if you agree with that, please go ahead and sign that petition. And then as you move down, there are 3 additional information. These are other options for you. Wanting to get more involved, please select any of the following that apply to you. I will be at the West Wisconsin Neighborhood Chautauqua event on Sunday, June 14th at 1 p.m. in Napa Valley. We have members from at least 5 affected communities who are going to be there tomorrow, and the data center affected communities, and they are going to do a panel about those effects. We also have experts, some of the ones who you saw up here tonight. Some of my colleagues and friends with the statewide group, Great Lakes Neighbors United, are going to be doing some breakouts on different specific items related to data center work. And then we are going to begin the conversation of what would it look like if we developed a regional framework around data centers, a cooperative framework. Next, I want to join a county team organizing for protections from data centers in my area. So that means there'd be a team in Dunn County, a team in Pierce County, a team in Polk County, a team in Rusk County, a team in Clark County, a team in Trempealeau County, and the others. Okay, and you can join that team, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna give us the opportunity to start working as teammates within that county. And then if you're just the kind of person who just wants to be like Prescott, you can't say no, you gotta go help whoever you can, then this one's for you. I wanna join the Neighborhood Watch. I'll go wherever I'm needed, whenever I can, to support the cause. So right now, I want for you guys to look through this, sign the petition, let us know how you're going to take action. And what we're gonna do together is gonna change a lot. Because this is the first time I think that any area has said, we wanna do this together. And I believe it's the first of many. Someone's gonna hear about this and they're gonna do it better than we did, right? And it's just gonna keep going and going and going. And eventually, the investments dry up. When they see how organized we're getting and the power we've created, the investments dry up. How many of you are on board? you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, scan that QR code, and if you guys can help in any way, just do it. You know, that would be super great. That's all I had to add right
We
there.
really, Charlie, think about this, folks. This man has really just spent himself. And he doesn't, this is not something he does as an act. Like, he cares about these things. Like, when something happens in Hammond, I'm hearing from him, what happened in Hammond? How are things going? What can we do? Right? He's in it with us. Let's hear it for him.
Oh, that's too nice. I extend the claps to this man right here, because he has worked his ass off. He really has. And done something so special that I do hope goes to other communities.
All right. I thought it would be fun if we had Bo and Soren come on back up. You guys want to sing a song with them? Yeah? All right, Bo and Soren, come on up. This is how we're going to close it out tonight. All right, let's get rowdy with this one. I'll sing with you guys. Or are you singing by yourself?
No, I'm not singing by myself, Blaine. I'm going to try and follow along with these guys so you can't hear my voice, you know? I do comedy mostly. What song are we singing?
This Land Is Your Land.
Oh, nice.
Everybody.
All right, here we go. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, every damn highway I saw before me, that endless skyway I saw below me, that endless valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. One more time. This land was made for you and me.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming out tonight, neighbors.